Hey, podcast family. Do you have big dreams and goals that you just can't seem to achieve? Are you excited about your future but need a little inspiration? If so, then my next guest is here to inspire you. Her name is Osnita Norman. Osnita is a woman of many gifts and talents. She's a first class leader for women of all backgrounds, ages, and ethnicities. Her accomplishments are incredible. She's an author, a radio host, and business owner. She will be here live to answer all of your questions this Saturday at 12 o'clock noon on Facebook Live. And not only is Osnita a phenomenal woman, but she's also a very dear friend of mine. We hope to see you on Saturday. Okay, we are live. Good afternoon. It is after 12 o'clock noon, and we are here live on Speaking of Love, the podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I just want to take a few moments before we get started and talk about the fact that today is my 15th episode, and I am so super excited to have this opportunity today. We are here on my podcast called Speaking of Love. My name is Latoya, and I am the host and producer of this podcast. This podcast can be heard on Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, and also on Apple Podcasts. And the purpose of this podcast is to spread love. The podcast was created in honor of my father, who committed suicide earlier this year. My father was a radio TV broadcast engineer, and he had his very own radio show on WGPR here in Detroit many years ago. And his show was called Speaking of Sports. So, to honor his memory, I have created this podcast called Speaking of Love. And today we are going to do all things related to love. Today I have a phenomenal guest, a phenomenal woman, a beautiful woman, a smart, intelligent, vibrant woman. She's a business owner. She has her own business shop. She's a radio host, an entrepreneur, just a leader for women of all ages, races, and ethnicities. And I am so happy to bring her to the platform today. She's not only all of these wonderful, amazing things, but she's also a very, very dear friend of mine. So let's get started, go right into our interview. Good afternoon, Osnita Norman. Welcome to Speaking of Love.
Thank you, Latoya, for having me. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic. I'm so excited to sit down to speak with you today to talk about the wonderful and amazing things that you are doing in your life. How have you been doing during this whole pandemic?
Quarantine. It has been, you know what? I've been doing great. Health-wise,
Wonderful.
great. Mentally, great. Just waking up every day and remembering to be grateful and thankful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Because sometimes we can, I'm tired of being in the house, or, you know, it can get the best of you. But overall, I just remember to be grateful and to be thankful because it could be worse. So that's how I've been spending my quarantine.
Wonderful. So, Asnita, I know that you have a lot of things that you're involved in, but let's take it all the way back to the beginning. How did you start? Where did this love for being a leader come from? Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
You know what? That's funny that you would say that, because if my parents were here and they could see me doing, like, especially like doing an interview and radio, they probably would laugh, especially my mom. I was very, as a child, stubborn, shy. My dad was a pastor. So, I was always on the usher board or in the youth choir or Sunday school. And it was not, I think back, they pushed me to be a leader when I really didn't want to be one. I'm really perfect. Even today, I'm good in the back.
Okay.
I have to, people think because they see me at, events and I'm social and I like to laugh and have a good time. Most people think that I like the spotlight when I really, really don't. So I'm perfect in the back. So
Okay.
it started, like I say, it started from church, just having to embrace people coming in from the outside, new church members, they may have children and stuff like that. So I was always hospitable. or had hospitality. So my leadership and my go get it, it comes from when I was small. That was just, I was shy, but I was always pushed to the front to do stuff. So
Okay. So growing up as a minister's daughter, how was that complicated, or did you have to be held to a different standard from other children, being that your father was a minister?
no, he treated us. I was treated no different than the average. I mean, it was, most people think I grew up in a very, very strict household. We had rules and we had do's and don'ts, but it wasn't overly strict. You know,
Okay.
still
Okay.
I was able to have a life outside of church. So my dad would always tell us, you you're gonna grow up. So you gotta know what's on the outside to be able to take care of yourself. So
Okay.
it was fine. It was okay. You know, I didn't want to go to church all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, that was just a part of it. And but overall it was cool with me. I didn't have no major issues.
Okay. So how important is your faith to you, being that your father was a minister?
It's very important. I read my Bible, I pray, I'm a Christian. You know, I just believe in God. You know, I believe in a higher power and what people call the universal genie, whatever you want to call it. That's what I believe. Of course, as you get older, you do question some things, but you have to learn the Bible and learn your own beliefs for yourself and what works for you. So I use the Bible as a guide, as an instructor for me, my life, and even for my son. So,
Oh, wonderful. So you have a son. So you're first of all, you're a mother, an
yeah,
entrepreneur, a business owner, and you work a 9 to 5 job.
yes,
So
I got.
how do you balance all of that without going crazy?
How do I? You know what? Toya, I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I know I'm at my 9 to 5 at a certain time. Far as being an entrepreneur, I always fit it in after my 9 to 5, and then on the weekends, I'm off on the weekends. So the weekends give me my time to go to events and promote and do different things as it relates to my business. Um, and I just make it work. Most of the time, when it comes to my son, if he can come with me, I just bring him along for the ride. And
Okay.
he like being around people,
Okay.
so it gives him that, you know, the social, learn how to socialize and deal with people. So I take him more for, because he has to come in some cases, but then in a lot of cases, it's a lesson. It's a
Okay.
teachable moment.
Okay.
So I
Well,
just I just balance it all. I just figure it out.
well, speaking of balancing motherhood, I understand that your mother was very instrumental in helping you come up with the creation for your boutique, Pure Essence. Can you tell me a little bit about the background behind Pure Essence and where it is today?
My mother was a housekeeper, and this I'll take it back. So she always brought, clothes from her employees. You know how people give you things that they no longer use,
Yeah.
and it would be like bags and bags of stuff, shoes, clothes, dresses, everything. Some stuff I could fit, some stuff I couldn't. So that taught me about designer,
Okay.
the labels, because a lot of times it would be designer labels, which I didn't know all the way at that time when I was younger. But as I grew up, I can remember, because some of the pieces I might still have had or can remember the name and things like that. And then from that, me and my mom used to always go to garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, just finding stuff,
Mhm.
just anything that was one of a kind. So that was something we did on a weekend. And then we always went to different this one school, Groves, they had a yearly event. So we would always go to get the bargains, you fill your bag up. And I would always wear things, and my friends would like it. People would compliment me on it. And I'm never ashamed to tell a person where I got something from. So I might say, oh, I paid $1 for this skirt. Nobody ever believed me, because I would put it together to fit my own style, my personality. So
Yes.
but me and my mom, we just always like did garage sale, yard sale. But even as a little girl, this when we moved to our newer neighborhood, a couple ladies around the block, they always was having the yard sale like every Saturday. So I would circle the block and probably buy something like every hour, literally, just because I just wanted to have something different. Mm-hmm. So I would take my mother's stuff. You know how as kids you buy your mom's gift. I always had some change or something, so I would go buy a coin purse or a little whatnot and bring stuff home, either give it to my mom or spruce my room up or something like that. So it comes from you.
Wow. So how long have you had your business?
I've been in business since 2015. I started out as an online boutique, resale boutique, which was not really happening in 2015. It really wasn't. And then 2017 is when I transitioned to online and having my brick and mortar, suite on 13 and Hoover. And that was fun, because I got a chance to interact with people. So I like to interact so that for people to walk in and go, oh my God, you got this. Oh my God, this looks nice. I like that feeling of having the actual store. Online, of course, is less overhead, but when you get to connect with people, that's like a different feeling.
It is. And I will honestly say that during this pandemic, a lot of businesses are still thriving because they have the opportunity to sell online. But I personally miss the interaction with customers, working with people, because I'm a hugger. So like everyone that I come in contact with, 9 times out of 10, I'll give you a hug as opposed to a handshake. So this pandemic has really put a damper on the human connections that we all have. And I hope that someday we can all get back to that.
I know. I mean, it's true, but you kind of feel awkward.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially if, like you said, if you're a hugger and that's like your first instinct, especially when you haven't seen anyone in a long time. That's like when I go to the hair salon, like me and the ladies in the hair salon, we're friends now because we see each other consistently, we talk about family, just all kinds of things. And when you walk in, it's kind of like, well, we used to, hey girl, we'll go all around, and that's just what we did. So now it's kind of
like, now it's like you have to do the elbow bump,
right? Or we just looking like, hey,
yeah,
awkward.
And another thing too is if you sneeze nowadays, people are looking like, oh my goodness,
my niece said she was in a grocery store and she coughed and she said she found herself apologizing.
That is really something.
Sorry. But that's just where we at, and you have to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
Do your part. And that's it.
So Osnita, we're talking about your boutique called Pure Essence. And I love your logo, by the way. That logo is beautiful.
Thank
I love
you.
the logo. It's like a clothes hanger with Pure Essence engraved in it.
I have 2 different ones. I have the one with the clothes hanger and then just the longer one.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Now, Osnita, describe the 2 mannequins that you have behind you. What is their fashion attire?
Okay. So this fashion attire, I would just call it fun.
Okay.
This is a BCBG skirt and it has sequins on it. I don't know if you can see the sequins, but it has the sequins. And just a t-shirt like I have on, just something plain, but the pizzazz comes with your skirt. And then I took a chain, a necklace, and just kind of threw it over the shoulder. It usually would go down, but I didn't want to cover up the detail on the shirt.
Okay.
So I just put the chains to the side.
That looks beautiful. I love it.
This could be a day to night outfit is what I would call it.
I love it.
Reason being, you can put it on afternoon with some flats, and at night you can put on some heels and go hang out with your girls. Find maybe a little jacket or something to throw on, or wear it like this, and that's day to night.
Now, me, I would wear that to work, but I would put maybe a black blazer over it or maybe a tan blazer. And girl, I would rock that. That is super cute.
Right. And just think about if you had an after work affair. You know how sometimes people go to happy hour, not necessarily to drink, maybe to eat, or just socialize. You could easily have your heels at work or in your car switch them up real quick. Take the work blazer off and put on a more club blazer.
Yes, yes, yes. Very
And you got it.
versatile.
That's what I like day to night. I like what I try to get people to understand with fashion is functionality and having classic pieces. And having classic pieces is mostly like your blacks, your whites, your reds, but more so black. Everything go with black.
Yes, it does.
So,
So describe the other piece behind you. Now that's a beautiful dress. What is that?
This is, I forgot who this dress is made by, but it is a chiffon. So I would call this like wedding attire.
Okay.
Graduation party. And again, this is another piece. As I don't know about you, but as I've gotten older, I embrace dressing up or looking more fashionable more now than I did 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want it, you find any moment to feel fabulous and look beautiful.
Yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
especially with us being in this pandemic and the quarantine, it's like, let me dress up today. I'm going to the grocery store. This is my first time being out in a couple of weeks. Let me kind of spruce it up today.
Yes, that was me last week. I really got dressed. I'm like, where am I really going? I had one errand to run, and I have got up, put on a little bit of makeup, put some perfume on, style myself real cute to go on one errand. But I felt good though, because I hadn't done it in a long time. I'm with my 9 to 5, I'm working from home. So I'm literally in leggings or, jogging pants and t-shirt, most of the time. So
Osnita, if anyone is interested in purchasing some of your products, where do we go? Because I'm liking that t-shirt you're wearing. I want to order one of those.
This is online. My online website is pureessenceresale.com.
Okay.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, I am pure_essence_resale. And then on Facebook, I am pure.essence.resale.
Okay. Now, Osnita, we're going to move on to our next topic, which is your book.
Ooh, I got a copy.
You are a best-selling author. You're a published author. Your book is available on Amazon. So talk to us about this book.
Well, of course, the name of the book is Entrepreneurship, My Story, Your Guide. And I am a co-author. But my chapter is For the Love of Resale. I don't know if you can see it. It's how you rock it.
Okay.
That's my cover. My cover.
Wow.
That's my story. And it talks about my journey, like who I am, where I come from. Most people would think that I get my fashion sense, from my mom totally. And my mom was quite fashionable and she liked nice quality things, but she was more reserved, conservative, more reserved. And my dad was the one that was more fashionable. He gonna have the jewelry on, the rings, and all of that.
Of course, being a minister, I'm sure.
Yes, very much so. You can see them coming a mile away. And then my sisters. So I talk about, being the youngest of 5. And, I looked up to everybody. So I got my dad, my mom, my brothers, and my sisters. And everybody liked to dress and have nice things. So that's where my love of fashion come from too. So I talk about that in the book. And then also I talk about just the industry of resale and how I have to tell people a lot that I'm not a thrift store.
Okay.
Or I'm not, I don't, and not to sound like, oh, I don't take that, but I have to tell people because they'll go, oh, I got all this stuff in my closet. And I'm like, no, I understand you got a lot of stuff in your closet, but I need pieces that are current and, trendy to current. So that's like 2 to 3 years. Like if you got classic pieces, I can take a look. Or if you have some designer pieces, sometimes that are classic, they just vintage and they just go with time. Okay. Yeah, but not everything. So I talk about not being resale, but not thrift. Okay. Nice, gently worn, maybe one time. Maybe I took the tag off and tried it on and didn't want it no more. That's what resale is.
Sure. So, Osnita, when it comes to fashion, do you give consultations? Like if I wanted to spruce up my attire, Would you be willing to help me clean my closet and get my life
Yeah.
together?
Yes, that's a part of my of being an entrepreneur that I'm tapping into. I haven't gone fully with it, but I would love to do consultations and help people, like you say, bring some stuff out of your closet, but
Mm-hmm.
also help you understand the gems that you have sitting in there.
Yes, yes. And
Because
also enhance your beauty as well.
yes, people, a lot of people, I tell them, they'll say like, what's the difference in fashion and style? Fashion is trendy, so that's what's happening. What's the newest item, the newest color, the newest patterns. You stand up to date with the trends. Having style is just strictly you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily being trendy. That's
Right.
just that's just the neat, unique you. Like a lot of times my friends already know I'm gonna have on something unique, whether it's a shirt, pant, but more than likely it might be a pair of shoes, a shirt, or a purse. I love purses. So bringing out those pieces that you can wear multiple times with multiple things, and no one will never know that you wore that same black dress. So that's how you, when you're going through the closet, take this one dress and put three blazers behind it. And then you
Mm-hmm.
take and put these three necklaces with this blazer. You switch out your shoe.
Okay. So basically your book and your business go hand in hand with each other.
Yes, yes. And yeah, I talk about all of that in the book, like marketing and how I got started. What keeps me motivated, and just to continue to share my love of fashion.
So
That's
what's
just
your favorite part of the book?
my favorite part of the book is when I talk about my son towards the end, and I'll read a piece if I can.
Of course.
Let me see. It's really at the end. Oh, here it is. One part, the part is why entrepreneurship. I said I'm a mother, a daughter, a niece, and an aunt who takes this entrepreneurial journey serious, but I want to be an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
And I go on to talk about my son. It says, as I have evolved from dreaming to doing, I introduced my son, Jason II, to an entrepreneurial journey also. Each time I would do a vendor event, I would take him with them. In the beginning, he only wanted to roam around the shop. One day he approached me about purchasing a video game, and I had him to go into his closet and his toy stash and pick out things that he didn't want anymore.
Okay.
We went to Gibraltar. He made the $80 that he needed.
Oh, wonderful.
And,
And that
that was
that was a teachable moment at that point.
exactly,
A life
exactly. So
lesson.
that's my favorite part of the book, was making him realize, hey, you got money sitting right here. And when
Sure.
we went to Gibraltar, people was buying his old little, his gym shoes and toys and all
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. He was on cloud nine. So he know at that moment I taught him how to make some money.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know,
You
you always have
definitely
something.
did.
Yes. So that's my favorite part. That's one of my favorite parts of
And
the
your
book.
book is called Entrepreneurship on Your Side.
My story, your guide.
Your guide. And where can we find that? On Amazon, right?
It's on Amazon, and you can also purchase it on my website as well.
Okay. And give us the website again.
The website is pureessenceresale.com. That's PureEssenceresale.com.
Awesome. Osnita, you are an amazing woman. You have so many great things going for yourself. What's next for you? What can we
What's
expect from
next?
you in the future?
Well, in the middle of, it's funny because we talked about a little, you mentioned fear earlier before we started. And what's funny is most of my journeys after launching my resale boutique were done afraid.
Okay.
You ever heard that phrase to say, do it afraid?
Yes.
Like, how you be a little hesitant, but you want to do it. So you just do it, whether because you're scared. And then if
Mhm.
it work out, fine. And if it doesn't,
Yes.
So my next journey, like I said, I'm still just enhancing and bringing new uh, things to the resale boutique, like you said, consultation, closet organizing, outfit, putting outfits together for people. So that's why I want to dive into a little bit more. I also, like I said, I did this afraid. I host a radio show. In that radio show called Fashion, Flair, and Lifestyle. And that's what I'll be working on along with my resale boutique. But that's what's next, is to expand in the, what you want to call it, entertainment, entertainment and radio hosting. So yeah, that's my next journey.
Well, that is absolutely wonderful. And I have been a guest on your radio show before.
Yeah.
Had a phenomenal time. We had so much fun together. It was absolutely amazing. And just
Yeah.
sitting side by side, you and I, we have like this connection with each other where we just seem to fit together so perfectly with our values and our morals and the way that we operate our businesses. So I really enjoy working with you, and hopefully I can be a guest on your radio show again when things
Yeah.
back up. But I want to go back to something you were talking about a few minutes ago, being fearful and afraid, because really that's the purpose of this podcast today, is to help people watching overcome fear. We have so many skills and talents inside of us,
Yeah.
but a lot of times we're afraid to tap into that force to bring it out. So, what kind of advice would you give to a young entrepreneur like you and me who has a beautiful gift, but we just don't know how to bring it to the platform? How would you advise them to step out of fear and just go for it?
I would tell anyone, if it's something that you want to do, then just do it. Because nobody may not love what you have to offer. Just say, for instance, if I wanted to be a fashion designer, like I can't draw, but I can style. But if I went and told somebody I want to be a fashion designer, if they're not passionate, or if people don't have a creative mind, they may not understand. So when it's something that you want to do, just do it. Write the blueprint. It's like no different than building a house. The 9 times out of 10, a person that built their first house, guess what? They had to write down what they wanted in that house.
Yes.
I want 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And then as you evolve, you learn, I need a blueprint. So you go to somebody to write you a blueprint, right? So you just do it. Start it. I always tell people, start what you can, perfect what you can, and everything else will fall into place.
Yes.
So the first thing to having a business is what? Let me get me a business name. Let me get a tax ID. That's the easy part.
Sure.
That's 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes of your time.
It is.
But the hard part is staying motivated and working. But like I said, if that's something that you want to do, seek out to do it. The worst thing that can happen is you fail. But at least you tried, whether it worked or whether it don't work. I live, a lot of times I do stuff, like I said, I do it afraid. And not go and say, if I don't do it, how would I feel?
Sure. Do it afraid. I like that philosophy. Do it afraid. Nothing beats the fail but a try. Give it a try. Go for it.
Yes.
Step out on faith. I have this story I talk about all the time. As you know, I have a cat, and my cat is 10 years old, and she is the complete love of my life. And my daughter and I, we just adore her so much. And when we went to get her, I had never owned a cat before. I'd never been a cat lover. I didn't like them. So what I did was, I knew my daughter really wanted a pet, and I didn't want to be selfish to my child and not give her something because I didn't like animals. So we stepped out on faith, and we, as you said, walk in fear, and we got this cat. We adopted her. And within, I would say, 24 hours, I was totally in love with her. So I named her Faith, because we stepped out on faith. So what you're bringing to the forefront today, Osnita, is you're talking about facing your fears, stepping out on faith, and going afraid. And look at what happened. Here we are 10 years later. I stepped out on faith, and she's the love of my life. I'm telling you, she is the sweetest thing ever. And if I had lived in fear and never had this opportunity, I wouldn't know love the way I know it in the form of a pet.
Exactly. A lot of times you always have to, it's no difference in having a child. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Being, as you know, both of us know, being a parent comes with no instructions, right?
Yes.
But at each hurdle or for each milestone in your child's life, what you see them change.
Yes.
And guess what? You figure it out. It's like a child going from infant to 1 years old. What you do, you figure it out. Once
Mm-hmm.
they get to 5 years old, their personalities change a little bit. Guess
Sure.
what you do? You figure it out. You
Yes.
have to figure that child out. So with each on your journey, you just figuring that out along the way.
Yes, you are.
When you perfecting what you can is perfecting your presentation, the way you treat people, customer service, managing your time,
Mhm.
being a person of your word. That's perfection.
Yes, it is.
But should I launch it on a Saturday or a Sunday? Oh, well, I'm not going to launch it because Christmas is coming up. Or I'm not going to launch it because this holiday, well, I don't think nobody going to come on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, my day is, I'm going to have this event on Thursday. I'm
Sure.
going to send my invites out. Whoever come, that's who it's meant to be.
Yes.
Whoever don't come, they didn't make it.
Yes.
Now, when I do my event on Thursday night, because that's the night I chose, I might see this go around. Okay, Thursday might not be good because people getting off work.
Right.
A lot of people don't travel, during the week. Okay, so next time I'll do it on the Saturday. Or
Mm-hmm.
why do it on the
Trial
Saturday?
and error.
Trial and error.
Yep.
But if I had to listen to everybody else telling me, or that second mind that's creep in telling me, oh, not to launch or not to do this, then I wouldn't know. So
Yeah.
guess what? I always say experience is a good teacher. So from that experience, for me, then I can tell you, if you say I'm a host my event on Thursday, I can share that story. Well,
Sure.
Tonya, I tried it. I'm not saying it won't work, but this is what happened with me.
Sure.
You may listen, or you may go ahead and do your Thursday like you want to, and then come back and say, you really told me not to, and I did it. But again, that's something that you have no control over.
And another thing I know in business too, when you're thinking of launching a new business or any type of entrepreneur skills that you have,
Mm-hmm.
that you want to accomplish in your life, you have to be very careful of the people that you discuss those plans and ideas with, because
Oh,
people can
that's
be very influential in discouraging you from something that could hold you back from your greatness.
yes. Oh, definitely. When you hear people, how can I say it? It's almost like some people don't have that creative mind and that process of, I don't want to say, I guess I can say hustling, because
Mm-hmm.
being an entrepreneur it's a hustle.
Yes,
You
it is.
have to want it to go out and get it. And you got to work hard to get what it is that you want.
Yes.
And a lot of people will just, like you say, discourage you, asking too many people,
Mm-hmm.
talking to people who have no experience in the field that you're going
And a
in.
lot of times, too, the people who are giving you that it's discouraging advice is also speaking from a place of their own fear.
Exactly.
So we have to really watch that. We really
Yeah.
do.
And that's one thing. Like with my mom, like I said, Toya, I probably could come up with a business for me, you, and 5 other people in the room. So I will always call my mom and be like, Mom, let me tell you what I'm about to do. Listen to this. And she would go, what is it, Osnita? And I would run it on down to her. And she would just go, really? Okay. Her first question would be, what is it that you need me to do?
Aww.
She would never say, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. The only thing we would go back and forth on is if it was something and I said I needed to feed the people.
Sure, sure, sure.
She would say, why do you need to feed these people? I'm
Wow.
like, well, Mom, give her my reason. But she never said, oh, that sounds dumb, or I don't think you can do that. It was always, where can I help you? And that's what you want, for a person to go, if that's your idea, tell me what you need me to do.
And that's another good bit of advice that you're giving us right now. As mothers, we tend to talk about being in fear and our children But what you just told us was really, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Always being there to support your child. As you know, I have a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
turned 20 years old, and she's going to have things happening in her life, and I always want to be a strength of support for her,
Right.
that she can turn to.
Mm-hmm.
So just saying, okay, what can I do to help you? Where do you need me? That was brilliant for your mom to say that.
And that's it. Because she has to be the one to put the work in.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
sitting here. I'm sitting here to be supportive. When
yes.
she come to ask you a question, you can offer her some support.
Mhm.
Baby, don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. And you, as well as I know, when your parent, mother or father say it's gonna be okay, don't worry about it. That worry go away because my mama said, or
Aw.
because daddy said.
You
You
know,
know what I'm saying?
yes, Asnita, I met your mom at your grand opening for Pure Essence. I saw her, she was in the back area, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw her just that one time and we spoke very briefly. But I've been told by you and others that she was just a beautiful woman of love.
Oh,
And love was the key that she used to
yeah,
unlock so many doors. And this show is about spreading love. So I
yeah.
have to ask you the $1,000,000 question. How do you define love?
B, how do I define love?
And I don't necessarily mean like a romantic love. I
But
just
just
mean
uh,
universal love.
universal love. I describe universal love as, in the Bible, it says love is the greatest gift.
Mm.
And you have to show love. I can tell you I love you. I can tell you I love you all day. But if I never show you any form of affirmation or affection, whether it's through
Mhm.
words, whether it's through touch, you don't really know that.
Yes, yes,
How can so my universal love is making people feel good, making people smile.
yes,
I can do it through fashion. Everybody have their niche, but my just say for instance with you, my love to you would be through fashion. If you say you have an event, Nita, I don't know what to put on. I don't know how to walk in this room with all these people. My love to you, girl, you hot. Let's go in that closet and see what you got, because you about to turn some heads when you walk in this room. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
love
go in here, get your dress. You might be like, but my hair, we're
it.
not
Mhm.
gonna worry about that. So
So
mine would
that's your
be
ministry. Fashion is your ministry of love.
that's
I get it.
it.
I
Because it,
get
it makes you feel good.
it. Hmm.
And the reason I with fashion I said it makes me feel good because I can remember when I lost my parents. And you have up days, you have down days.
You do.
So one day I was at work and I wore some heels to work. Okay. And when you walk in a pair of flats sometimes or gym shoes, something more comfortable, you kind of tend to just kind of mosey on through. But you step that heel game up. I don't know. I don't care if it's a kitten heel, a little wedge heel, your whole walk and your presence change.
Mhm.
Think
Mhm.
about it. Because
Mhm.
when you got that heel on, you got to, bring that back in, push it out and, change the walk a little bit.
Yes, you
So
do.
if I can make a person show love by making a person smile through my words and through what I'm able to offer, that's my love language.
Wow,
You
that's
know, and
absolutely
mine is fashion. So I show my love through words of affirmation, a listening ear, and dressing you up.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. Yes. Well, Asnita, it has been a pleasure interviewing you. We're almost out of time. Uh,
Oh no,
you and I go way back. We graduated from Denby High School, class of 1993. And
93 Debbie Tires.
yes, yes, 93. Don't get me to dancing up here.
Well,
But
I found my 93 keychain in the basement the other day. In my yes,
girl, you better cherish that. That is a jewel, a keepsake.
yes, I found my keychain.
Wow. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. But before we go, is there anything else that you would like for our viewers to know? And you know what I'm going to do too? We have some people on our Facebook Live. So for those who are watching us on Facebook Live, if you have any questions for Asnita, please type in your question and we'll definitely get those questions
Yes.
answered. But Osnita, what do you want people to know about you and the legacy that you are creating? When the pages of your life have been reviewed, what
Mhm.
do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for a person of just love, happiness. You know, I want to be remembered by motivating and inspiring people. I want to always hear somebody say she was such an inspiration. I
Mhm.
like to see results. So if I can inspire you to make a move, that's a result for me. It don't
Yeah.
have to be paid, it can be free. A lot of people want to get paid for knowledge and things. So I just want people to know that I was a motivator, I was an inspirer, and I like to listen. And I always wanted to be able to help wherever I can.
Oh,
That's what I want people to remember me.
well, you have already made that impact on me and the rest of the world. You are on top of your game. You are an inspiration, as I've said before, for women of all ages and all backgrounds. And I'm so thankful and blessed to have you as my friend. And I want you to know that I truly appreciate you on a very deep level, because when my dad committed suicide back in March, you were the very one person who called me every day or texted me every day to make
Yeah.
sure that I was doing okay. And you were there as a source of love for me when a lot of people that I thought would be there for me were not there for me. So I will always hold a special place in my heart for you for being that person in my life when I needed you. And I thank you so much.
And I really appreciate you being in my life because your love mission. And before we started our, more of a sisterhood communication, I will always see you on Facebook giving stuff away or doing something nice. And I would be like, oh my God, oh my God. Like I want to have that effect on people.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to say, you know what, I'm thinking about here, take that. And I do that.
Yeah,
And
you
it
do.
happened, and to make a long story short, it happened today. One of the ladies told me, she said, I have something for you. And I said, she told me some items she wanted to give to my store. And I said, well, how much? She said, oh no, I want to give it to you. And I said, really? And she said, remember you gave me such and such and such.
Wow.
And I was like, I did. And all I could say was, thank you.
Yes, yes.
So to you, thank you for always showing people how to love
Mm-hmm.
through words, through giving, and even you've given me some things. You call me. I want to meet you. I have something for you. And it's like gifts. And I'm like, okay. At a time that you didn't know what I was going through.
Sure.
So yeah, I really appreciate you for always being there. When I send you a hey girl, I'm just checking in, you respond back. If I got questions or I got things going on, we both respond. You check on me, I check on you. And that's what it's about. Love.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for saying that. Because sometimes you don't realize how impactful you are to other people
That's
because
true.
I'm me, and I'm so used to living and operating my life this way that I don't realize how important my impact is. I
Yes.
went to I think it was a Taco Bell recently, and I placed my order at the back, and then when I drove around to the window, one of my former students was standing there like, "Oh my God, Miss Bond, I knew that was you when I heard your voice." He said, "Do you remember that day when my mom ran out of gas and you took us to the gas station and bought a can and got gas for us and drove us back?" And I'm like, "I think I remember that." He said, "I'll never forget you." He said, "Every time I'm driving now as a grown man, when I see people on the side of the road that don't have gas," he said, "I always think of you and I go help them." And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. So we as people, we don't realize the love that we give. It was nothing to me at the time because I
Right.
don't even remember doing it. But I realized in that moment of spreading love and helping this family, I have carried him to a point where now when he's in that situation and he sees someone that needs gas, he's doing what I did for them. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that impact because to hear that, it made you feel what? It made you feel good.
I actually was crying when he told me. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that.
That's what I want. I talked to my cousin a couple of weeks ago and I had to tell her I had to thank her for the things that she provided in my life, the things that she instilled and the things that she did for me. And she was like, "Oh," but when you're young, sometimes you don't really, you know, think about it in certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get older and you learn the value of love and giving to get back, and being a source or just making an impact on people, you do have to dig back and say, let me call this person and tell them thank you for putting
Yes.
this in my life. But you just so happen to run into yours. So that was awesome.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Osnita. I love you. And you and I are going to be getting together soon because I definitely want to order one of those shirts.
Oh yeah, my t-shirt. Can you see
Yes,
it?
stand up. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. I
Yep.
love it. I
So
love it.
the t-shirts are available, like I said, on my website, pureessenceresale.com. Instagram, you can find me pure_essence_resale. Facebook, pure.essence.resale. So yes.
Okay, well, thank you, Osnita. I love you so much. And I thank you for being here on Speaking of Love. This was my 15th episode, so I'm very excited.
Woo-woo!
Yes, yes. And you actually helped me birth this baby because I know we talked about it before it even
Yes,
happened.
we did.
But
And what did I tell you? Just do it.
just do it. Just do
You
it. You know
got
what? And it took for my father to pass away for me to go ahead and step out on faith because when something tragic like that happens in your life, it makes you move at a level that you don't usually move at. So I swiftly did what I needed to do. And you were very instrumental in helping me achieve this goal of my podcast. And I have it available on all platforms, Google Podcast,
it.
Spotify, SoundCloud, everywhere. And I'm just so grateful to you for helping me. And I'm thankful to you for our friendship. And thank you for being here on Speaking of Love. I love you. And we will be back here next week with another episode of Speaking of Love. So thank you all so much for watching.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.